most amazing artists. And how are you today? Today will be a great day. Today we will make our own fraction quilts. First we will look at some quilts and then we will create our own quilt square. Let's create. Love, Miss Collier. First, what do you know about quilts? What is a quilt? Yeah, a quilt is just a blanket. My mom loves to quilt. You'll notice that quilts are usually made out of fabric and then someone sews them together. So here's a quilt that I have. I know it's hard to see. So let's look at a couple quilts and see what we notice. What do you notice about this quilt? Yeah, there's lots of different colors. Yeah, this kind of almost star-like shape is repeated a lot, right? They make one square here, and then they do the same thing in a bunch of different squares. Interesting. Let's look at another one. Now, this one isn't finished, but it's going to look kind of like this. What do you notice about this one? Yeah, we see a pattern in this square, and we see the same pattern in every square where the outside square is one color and then the inside square is white. It's the same pattern in each 3x3 square, but we use different colors. Awesome. Let's look at one more. What do you notice here? Yeah, a lot of similar from the last two. We have a square and the quilt maker or the artist makes a pattern inside that square and then repeats the pattern. They might use the same colors or they might use different colors when they're making the pattern. So let's look at these pictures and see if we can describe them using fractions. Let me make it a little bit bigger. All right, so let's look at this quilt square first. First, what do you notice? How many colors are in this quilt square? 3. What colors? White, pink, blue. That's right. So let's see if we can figure out what fraction of each color this quilt square is. So if we want to find out the denominator, remember we have the numerator and the denominator. The denominator is the one on bottom. How do we figure out the denominator? Yeah, we have to count up all the squares because the denominator is the whole. So we have to count up and see how many parts are in the whole square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there are 16 parts in our quilt square. So I'll put that at the bottom of our fraction. Let's look at pink. What would be the numerator, or how many parts of our whole is pink? Yeah, 2. So I'll put 2 in my numerator. So how many parts of what's the fraction? What fraction of my artwork, of my quilt square, is pink? 2/16, or 2 out of 16. Let's find the fraction for white. What what's the numerator? How many parts of the quilt square are white? Yeah, 1, 2. 2 squares are white. And what's the whole? How many squares do we have in all? 16. We already counted that. We don't need to count it again. So what fraction of my quilt square is white? 2 out of 16, or 2/16. Can you figure out blue on your own? What's the numerator? And what's the denominator? So what fraction of our artwork is blue? 12/16. That's right. We know we're right because all of our parts, when we add them together, should add up to 16 because there are 16 pieces in all. And 12 plus 2 is 14. And 14 plus 2 is 16. So we know we counted correctly. All right, let's do one more together. What 3 colors do we have in this example? Purple and white and yellow. Absolutely. All right, I challenge you to pick a color, either purple or white or yellow, and figure out that fraction. I'm going to set a timer here, and I'm going to figure it out with you. All right, raise your hand if you picked purple. Awesome. Raise your hand if you picked white. Excellent. And who picked yellow? Whew, okay, we've got somebody on every color. All right, take your time and figure out the numerator and the denominator for the color that you picked. Here we go. Are you ready? All right, if you picked purple, what's the numerator for purple? How many purple squares do we have? 6. And what's the denominator? How many squares do we have in all? 16. So 6/16 of our quilt square is purple. How about white? What's the numerator? 4, because there are 4 white squares. And what's the denominator? Yeah, 16, right? We're still looking at the same quilt square, so they're the same parts. There's the same number of parts in the whole as there was for purple. How about yellow? What's the numerator? How many yellow squares are there? 6. And the denominator? 16. If you are in 4th or 5th grade, you might be able to write a simplified fraction. If you're in 3rd grade, you'll stick right here. But if you're in 4th or 5th grade, you might know that 4/16 is the same as 2/8, or the same as 1/4 or 1/4. Ooh, interesting. All right, we won't do that last one. Next, Miss Collier has her own quilt square. So here's my quilt square. What 3 colors did I use? Purple, light green, and dark green. You'll notice what shape is my paper? It's a square. You'll notice that if you get a piece of printer paper, it's bigger than a square. So one way that you can solve that is you can take one corner and you can bend it so that it's even here and fold it. And then you could cut this part off. And then you're left, or you can just fold it, and then you're left with a square. All right. So once you get a square piece of paper, then you're going to fold it into 16 equal parts. Your first, let me get a new piece of paper. Your first fold, we're going to fold it in half like a rectangle. Okay. So right now, I have 1/2 and 1/2. I have 2 halves. That's my unit fraction. I might go a little too fast for you with the folding because I guess it's a little tricky. So if you need to, pause the video. All right, now I'm going to whoosh and fold it this way. And now I have what unit fraction? I have fourths, right? I have 4 equal squares. All right, now you could do this by 2 ways. You could take the top, and I want you to fold it down, right, so it meets the middle, like that. And then do the same thing on the other side. Fold it down, right, so it meets your middle line. So kind of like you have, whoop, a little pop-up. Now what unit fraction do you see? We have 8ths. That's right. All right, you're going to do one more. And we're going to do the same thing we just did, but on the other side of our square. So we're going to fold into the middle. And then on the other side, fold into the middle. And then crease it. And then when we open it up, we have 16 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 squares. So now you can take your coloring supplies at home, whatever supplies that you have, and you can create your own quilt square. Then you're going to just figure out what fraction of each color your quilt square is. Mine is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sixteenths purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 sixteenths dark green, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sixteenths or 2/8 or 1/4 light green. What colors did you choose? What fraction of your artwork is each color? I can't wait to see what you created. All right, friends, I love you and I miss you.